possibility, for the belief that every tomorrow begins with a choice made today. We stand for growth, for curiosity that pushes boundaries, for knowledge that prepares you not just to adapt, but to lead. We stand for community, for minds that don't just think, but connect, for hands that don't just build, but uplift. We stand for experiences that shape you, for friendships that anchor you, for courage that carries you beyond this place. Here you become more than a student. You become a maker of solutions, a believer in dreams, a contributor to something greater than yourself. This is where purpose meets possibility. This is where futures are built. Chaz Brookbasar University, where you stand for what matters.
Early in the morning, fire on the stove, love in a pie, that's the life we know. From the fields to the table, every bite it shows. Primarily me, mama in the kitchen, we never eat alone. Primarily meal, the taste of home.
Primarily meal, pure, proudly Zambian, the taste of home.
Hi, my name is Constance Nalishewa Mleawa, the Mayor of Livingston. I also happen to be the 8th wonder of the world, and you are watching Prime TV2.
Henna muligisi idekoda ya Topstar amwebere magani atugwa munchiri agasimpe amumasena mo mukala ambunga abahimu wezelela twambo bahe omega abahimulimo twamwetela magani muhyogo yonse hajihi ana majaja wa Prime TV2 channel 110 ninganda ile tamagani mbwabele. Henna muligisi idekoda ya Topstar amwebere magani atugwa munchiri agasimpe amumasena mo mukala ambunga abahimu wezelela twambo bahe omega abahimulimo twamwetela magani muhyogo yonse hajihi ana majaja wa Prime TV2 channel 110 ninganda ile tamagani mbwabele.
A lovely good morning to you, Zambia, and thank you so much for joining us on your #1 breakfast show. This is the Sunrise Breakfast Show right here on PTV2. Of course, the home of breaking news. It is a brand new week and a fresh start to some amazing things that will be unfolding for the rest of the week. And we're so glad that you chose this particular channel. And of course, our Sunrise Breakfast Show to wake you up this morning, the early risers. What is happening in your community this morning? Do get in touch with us. We're also live on all our digital platforms. That is Facebook, YouTube, and not forgetting our website, that is PTV2 Zambia.com. And of course, it's so fulfilling and we're so delighted that you have chosen to join us this morning. My name is Rhoda Mlenga, and of course, I'm not alone in the studio. Of course, I'm joined by a brilliant mind, a gentleman. Good morning, Kizito.
Good morning, Rhoda. You're looking awesome.
Thank you so much. How's your morning going, by the way?
Okay, well, it was chilly in the morning, but I think it's eventually getting better. I had a bit of coffee. It looks brilliant. How was yours too?
My morning has been great, as you can see, a fresh start, and of course we're so excited. Our energy levels are very high this morning. Just looking at some of the things that we have jam-packed for our viewers, it is indeed going to be a jam-packed show. We'll be reflecting on some of the things that did happen over the weekend. But speaking about the weekend, how was your weekend in general?
Well, I think it was great. This particular weekend, I was all in church. I was a church boy, from through to through. Yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it was one that you have a lot of reflections, but looking forward to a very good week. And I know that for us, we may probably go to Kuomboka ceremony and cover that awesome ceremony. So I see a great week ahead of us. Yeah.
Of course, do not forget that you can also get in touch with us using the number 0972-036306. That is 0972-036306. Or you can also join us on our live, comment section on our Facebook feed. That is PTV2 Zambia, where, of course, we get to interact and you know that this show, is quite, interactive. So you can definitely also bring in your views on what exactly has been happening in terms of news and some social media trends.
And Rhoda, that's what makes, this platform the best in the country, in town, because it's interactive. And we expect you wherever you're trending, and we'll do everything to cover you. If we can't come there, we are gracious enough to have a digital platform. We can include you. But of course, we're talking about a couple of issues, national issues, and things that happened in the week. Rhoda, you may want to preempt what are we going to talk about today, coming live to the people on various platforms.
Right, so as always, we begin with the stories making headlines, and remember, as the home of breaking news, updates will be coming in throughout the entire program. And following the heavy rains with some bridges washed away and others submerged, and of course we'll be crossing live to our reporter John Shikabe to help us just understand the extent of the damage and what it means for the affected communities.
Yes, Rhoda, indeed, and of course, talking about floods, we have to see whether we are prepared as a country. I mean, it's been flooding for some time in the country, and have we prepared enough infrastructure to survive terrible moments like this? I think floods are not new. They started in the time of Noah. They've continued, and so we must really wake up to the core and find a way to to stabilize issues like that. But also, yes, also coming in the story later, we will be talking to Council Secretary, Sinazongwe, where we are going to get highlights on the CDF. I think that this is an untold story. Previously, this has been a concern countrywide. That the CDF was not enough. The current government has made quantum leaps in ensuring that CDF is quantumed, and the figures very high. And we want to see from Sinazongwe what has been happening, and I'm sure that you are going to do woman to woman, to pick out what is really happening on the ground.
Absolutely. Now, I'm not even going to ask you what's on your mind this morning, because obviously there's a deeply concerning trend that we must confront this morning. Now, over the weekend, sadly,
Yes.
on a very sad note, a woman was killed by a mob in Kalumbila district after being accused of having powers to make men's private parts disappear. Now, this comes barely a week after a similar incident in Chingola. We did see that one trending. Now, beyond the shock, we must also ask ourselves the difficult questions. What is driving, this fear, and why this misinformation spreading so rapidly? And of course, most importantly, why are communities resorting to mob justice? This is not just a story. It is a reflection of societal breakdowns that demand urgent attention.
Yes, Rhoda, let's not even call it mob justice, because justice is when you go before the jury, before the court, and you are tried, you are given a fair trial. But when you are accused, remember our law says that you are innocent until proven guilty. And in this regard, whether there is someone has alleged anything alarming, until you go to court, until you the process is done, you are arrested, you appear before the court, you are given room, you are given hearing, and we must rephrase and rechange the way we call justice. I think that Zambia has come to an lamentable levels where we want to take the law in our hands. And I think that the long arm of the law should visit such people, but also maybe we are going to need education, starting at civic level, to begin to tell people that, look, you can't take justice in your hands.
Exactly.
It's not justice, it's injustice. And even God, would tell you that, look, you have to come through me. So justice can be rendered only by people who are partial, and not a biased system that says parts have missed. And for crying loud, we will come into the story, but it doesn't make any good riddance for the country, that we're a Christian nation, we profess peace. And that we just civilize. I think in the Stone Age, those kind of things were possible. But today, I find it difficult to accept.
Very troubling development, indeed, Kizito. And now from societal or from social issues, we do turn to the political landscape. Now, the Patriotic Front over the weekend held its convention, ushering in Lusaka-based lawyer Makebi Zulu as the new party president. However, the outcome has actually sparked mixed reactions from key figures, including Mao Sampa and Wila Mudolo. So the big question is this the beginning of stability, within the PF, or, the start of another chapter of internal conflicts? As you know, that we have seen, a lot of wrangles in the Patriotic Front. And yesterday was really an interesting event. And I think we had a conversation, before we started the show on the convention and what exactly this means, to the people within the party.
That's right.
And what the public or the Zambian citizens should know. And I think we will definitely be able to just break it down on what exactly this means, and going forward what we expect to see. But maybe before we go forward, there's something interesting that you actually said before the show, and maybe you can run our viewers through that.
Yes, dear viewers, we are all interested that we have a strong opposition. In fact, I like to call Rhoda opposition as an alternative government. A government is working in waiting. But also, if you remember our civics, Rhoda, government was people in parliament, the publics, and of course, 3 arms of government. So we are all in government per se. And PF as an alternative government, or the government in opposition, should help us to do checks and balances. But we understand that there is grave confusion. And for me, what is alarming, Rhoda, is that even the technocrats, even the lawyers like Makebi that we expect to uphold high-level standards and legal standards, are the ones that are endorsing illegalities. You see, if I wanted to marry, I can't call my friends for a party, all my friends, and I do not consult the lady's family to say, look, we are bringing bride price. So already Mao Sampa, who is the office, who is supposed to be the man running the documents of the party, says, look, I'm not involved. I mean, if the guy who has the keys says I'm not involved, and the system has told us, look, there was a court hearing, yes, there was a judgment, and the process is being done, and then you hold a convention. I'm wondering, I think that PF is on a path of self-destruction, and at this level, I think the Zambian people must just lose total confidence in them, because we seem to have people who are delusioned. Rhoda, that's what I would say.
Yeah. All right, so maybe just, you know, a summary of what exactly, you know, is happening in terms of the convention, and, you know, what the convention was meant to do, or what exactly was happening. So the convention was called after months of wrangles in the party over who is the legitimate leader and who should take Patriotic Front into the 2026 elections. So acting President Given Lubenda had pushed for the long-delayed general conference to finally happen, saying delays were making the party unstable. Now, not everyone in the Patriotic Front agrees that the convention being held now is legitimate. So some leaders and factions say the party should wait for certain court decisions first, and others claim the process is being controlled by one faction. So that's why you are seeing strong, you know, reactions online and in the media as well. So some members are calling it a purported convention or rejecting its outcome. So the convention discussions included or affected leaders like Given Lubindama, Kebi Zulu, Brian Mundubile, and some aspirants withdrew. Others were blocked from participating, which already narrowed the race before the convention even happened. You must, you know, agree with me on that one.
Yes, yes.
And
yes.
of course, the bigger issue behind this particular convention. So this convention is happening after major shocks inside the Patriotic Front. And of course, we did see that the death of the former president, Edgar Lungu, in 2025 left the party divided again, you know, over leadership. So different factions still claim control of the party. So even though the convention was meant to unite the Patriotic Front, many analysts say it could either unite the party or deepen the divisions.
And you see, Rhoda, these are just deepened the divisions, because already, first of all, we've cited illegality. It's illegal. It goes nowhere. But secondly, if you are going to marginalize, because democracy is allowing everyone to come and participate, but already what they are doing is they are marginalizing certain people. And when I look at the caliber of people that went at the convention, I'm wondering what is happening to the Patriotic Front. Is this the guys that we allowed to govern us? You know, you just get disappointed and say, maybe we are the ones to blame. Those of us who voted for them, because the level of confusion in the Patriotic Front is unprecedented. And, you know, sorry to say, may so rest in peace, Edgar Lungu, but a great leader must leave, you know, things intact. And for that, we may have to say, wow, he could have done better in certain areas. But in terms of leadership and succession, you know, we mourn as a country, because a strong opposition is necessary to help the supply side, you know, to come to normalcy and just help deliver to the country. So for PF, it's very unfortunate, and I think that they have reversed the trends that Zambia made in terms of democracy.
Absolutely. So in conclusion, we can safely say that the Patriotic Front still does not have universally accepted leadership, and the party remains divided heading towards the next elections. This also weakens its ability to act as a strong opposition, you know, if you ask me, to the United Party for National Development. But of course, we await to see, you know, what happens as days go by, as weeks go by, as months go by towards the general election.
Hoping even that they may be ballot, because as things are going, you know, I see clever people even pulling out of the party, like Chanda. I've seen the MP in Mpika said, look, I think it's high time I went to, not the greener pastures, but to where there is leadership. And, you know, who wants to follow a leader that has 10 heads?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's definitely one to watch. And so, as you can see, our program today is fully jam-packed, from natural disasters to governance to social concerns and politics. And of course, we won't forget the world of sport later on, as we'll be joined by Jeremiah Chalwe, just to give us the latest updates on what has been happening in the world of sport.
Awesome. I think we're looking for great sporting activities. The weekend had quite a lot of sport. I slept on Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid, hoping to hear the updates and the analysis from the expert.
Absolutely. Now, before we get into all that, let's begin with something that affects all of us because, whether you're heading to work, you're going to school or the market, business as usual. Let's have a look at the weather. All right, so those are our money markets this morning. For those keeping an eye on the economy, business owners, traders, and of course everyone tracking the performance of the kwacha. Now, as we go on, we have a look at some of the stories that are making headlines in our news today. And we start the news update on a very sad note. A 63-year-old woman of Gibson Chifwembe Ward in Chingola has allegedly been killed by her 73-year-old husband following a marital dispute. The incident is reported to have occurred in the early hours of Sunday, the 22nd of March 2026, around 0640 hours. Now, Copperbelt Province Police Commanding Officer Mwala Yuyi, who confirmed the incident, identified the deceased as Lizzie Mwansa of Twashuka B area in Chiwempala. Mr. Yuyi said the deceased son, Thomas Msonda, discovered his mother lying lifeless in the bedroom with a deep stab wound on the back of her neck, while his father was found holding a knife. He added that the son, with the help of family members and neighbors, managed to overpower and apprehend the suspect before he was later taken into police custody. Our staffer, Derek Chitiamba, visited the funeral house and brought us this report.
A somber and a dark cloud has covered over the funeral house in Twashuka B in a Gibson Chifwembe Ward in Chingola district. Here, community members and their relatives have gathered to mourn the tragic death of Lizzie Mwansa, a 65-year-old woman allegedly murdered by her husband Zuze Msonda, 73, in a brutal act of domestic violence at around 0640 Sunday morning. In the bedroom where the incident occurred from, bloodstains spread over the floor and walls. Daughter to the deceased, with her tears in her eyes, recounts what had happened to this Prime TV reporter, saying her brother Thomas Msonda, 23, was also hit with a hammer in the head as he tried to stop the fight.
If your brother wants achim talalana pano yesterday ari pano ofo achela pasiti ofo bachimuma sando ofo achipunda funa achisanaima natnishi na munafi bread ile fumuko ofo memba tsapunda fati malamanafwa eshu ile last fiba chinje ba ndsemkuingira and then teba memba chafa fyo kuipa abeka bachafa abepa ebwalia na tom cause bachikata knife hatsa bomfye blanket kwikatira ku knife if achisa bafunyana pansi fetona police.
She has since called for justice to prevail on the matter.
Ababuteko baba kakafye life in prison. It's not the first time. Even in 2021 if you had sick.
Ward Councillor Gibson Chala, who visited the funeral house, described the situation as unfortunate and uncalled for. Neighbor and friends to the deceased that she is still in disbelief of what had happened.
Nsukuse mkanshini muninji pekanyakari. Ero rombo mwana malama. Aisanjita. Nishufwele ne shati mfolefe chitengo. Kukunu nifolefe skate. Vayo. Sani mumone ba mawe miropa. Efe ina sapo sakapu hapa. Efe na chisabu tuka muti. Nishini folefe chitenge mumusana. Ukuya afika kudia. Ukulengela kubedi. Kusanga mtu na tambalala. Kusanga fe miropa.
Meanwhile, Cobalt Province Police Commanding Officer Molayui have blood in the bedroom with a deep stab wound on her back of her neck. He said after police visited the scene, a blood-stained knife and a hammer were discovered. Reporting for Prime TV News, Derek Chitemba in Chingola District, Cobalt Province. A somber and a dark cloud has covered over the funeral house in
Roda there, and we now move to Muchenga Province, where a family in Isoka District has been devastated after a lightning hit a 41-year-old woman with 2 children, leaving them destroyed after a heavy downpour. Let's hear more in the report from Richard Simbaya.
A 41-year-old man of Malango village in Isoka District has died after being struck by lightning during a heavy downpour. The incident occurred yesterday around 22:40 hours in Chief Kafwimbi's area. Muchenga Police Commanding Officer Genet Kangombe confirmed the development to Prime Television News, identified the deceased as Dami Simuntengu. Mr. Simuntengu was asleep in his bedroom alongside his 39-year-old wife and their 2 youngest children, aged 2 and 5, when lightning struck the house. The lightning killed him instantly and set the family 4-roomed house on fire, police say, from the burning house. The 2-year-old boy sustained burns on his back, while the 5-year-old girl suffered burns on her right hand. The fire also destroyed household property whose value has not yet been determined. The injured children were rushed to Isoka District Hospital, where they are receiving treatment and are reported to be in stable condition. Richard Simbaya reporting for Prime TV News, Isoka, Muchenga Province.
Well, it looks like today is all about sad news, Kizito. But in another story, a 62-year-old man of Chidilalila area in Kabwe has been discovered dead along Lukanga Swamp Road under unclear circumstances. The deceased, identified as Fanwa Mkonka, was found with multiple injuries on Sunday, 22nd of March 2026. Police officers from Kasanda Police Station visited the scene and retrieved the body, which has since been deposited in the Kabwe Central Hospital mortuary. Meanwhile, the family of the deceased has appealed to the police to conduct a thorough investigation and ensure that those responsible are brought to book.
Their hearts are broken, minds disturbed. These are relatives and friends of 62-year-old Fanwa Mukonka of Kabwe's Chilalila area, who was discovered dead along Lukanga Swamp Road near his residence. Sister to the deceased explains.
Abantu babola bamba kuti uli muntu ngoba jaya ku ya ku road onoyo muntu ngoba jaya ku road ulako yanya abanko fani abo banko fani baba pati bangu membe chirila mbotwa gabalika amajinga kunka kuya kujana nchoveni mbamba bo bajayigwa twakakubajana bali basolede mumbala road aliategwa mpaka ndi farm.
A walk to the scene where the deceased was discovered, facing downwards with multiple injuries, was made.
Jana sotawa pona kunkali ya kutobere hamugondo kataliga kwenda pona aga yijaniga mutunta wa muntu pa kuba musowela then wampoba aga mubikide wamana mabusu bagabikide somewhere yawo.
Fanwa Mukonka's friend is saddened.
Tuishi boyu muntu unga chitefi because ine natampire kuno 1968 ndi akusukuru shatala bapo muri problem ichi tapari wa chitapu ataki kuno tukateve bakabora bakuti tumataba tushanifilia.
Police visited the scene and picked up the body, which has been deposited into Kabwe Central Hospital mortuary awaiting post-mortem and burial. Now the family have asked police to ensure that investigations are done in order to bring the perpetrators to book. Reporting for Prime TV News in Kabwe District, Joseph Siambehe.
Dine kukakulomana dokota amene akuthandiza anthu osiyanasiyana mu Zambia muno muperekese so mbiri kosekose ukuli kumene ndimupita anthuwo ndimwauze chiona chene eziko mukwambira mai.
My name is Jeff Perry from Chipata. I came to see Dr. Koromana for a financial problem that I've had for a long time. Now I'm able to live a meaningful life.
9 months nine months mpaka kufika 10 months. So natamba kwa Dr. Komare kwa TV. So nipemeni nanyamuka tenga phone number nanyamuka nubura kuna. Bati kufika kuna nanipasa bananitandiza. Bananuza timuzaenda lero clinic mchaka na mwana. Yakuma mzaenda maileta kuma 9 hours ishimini na mwana. Bati tinaenda 9 hours exact napezeka na baby boy.
Ilinto naleta mbapa TV na ishile umfwa balelanda paiba Dr. Kolomani. Efo na ishile senda phone number ya Dr. Kolomani na isa na abatumina badisa njasuka bampera ma direction na alima ndipantanshi na adishitana moto keji na totera
mankwalanga ine sintenga kuno ndimatenga Mozambique ndikumulanje pamene ndimatenga ati ndimathandiza mankhwala osiyanasiyana.
For more information, contact us on 0211-261242 or 0976-716754 or 0967
If it's not on Prime TV2, verify it. Our dedicated reporters across the country bring you accurate, well-researched news, keeping you informed 24/7. Catch us on Topstar Channel 110 and follow us on Facebook at Prime TV2 Zambia. Prime TV2, the home of breaking news.
What do we stand for? We stand for possibility, for the belief that every tomorrow begins with a choice made today. We stand for growth, for curiosity that pushes boundaries, for knowledge that prepares you not just to adapt, but to lead. We stand for community, for minds that don't just think, but connect, for hands that don't just build, but uplift. We stand for experiences that shape you, for friendships that anchor you, for courage that carries you beyond this place. Here you become more than a student. You become a maker of solutions, a believer in dreams, a contributor to something greater than yourself. This is where purpose meets possibility. This is where futures are built. Chas Brook Bassar University, where you stand for what matters.
Early in the morning, fire on the stove, love in a pie, that's the life we know. From the fields to the table, every bite it shows. Primarily me, the taste of home. Primarily me, the taste of home. Primarily me, the taste of home. Mama in the kitchen, we never eat alone. Primarily me, the taste of home.
Prime Mill Meal, pure, proudly Zambian, the taste of home.
Before 2022, millions of Zambian children stayed home, not because they didn't want to learn, but because school was unaffordable for many families. Today, things are much better. No more tuition fees, no more PTA fees, and no more examination fees. More than 2.5 million children are back in class across the country, from villages to towns, from the cities to the districts and provinces. Schools are feeding our children and classrooms are full again. And with the enhanced Constituency Development Fund, communities around Zambia are transforming education. More classrooms are being built, more desks are being made, more teachers.
You're still watching the Sunrise Breakfast Show, coming to you live on Topstar Channel 110. And you can also follow the program on our digital platforms, that is Facebook and YouTube at PTV2 Zambia, where your voice, of course, continues to shape this conversation. Now, Sinazongo district, located along the shores of Lake Kariba in Southern Province, is an area rich in potential, but like many rural districts, it faces significant developmental challenges. With the Constituency Development Fund now expanded to 40 million kwacha per constituency, many Zambians are asking critical questions. Is this money translating into real visible change on the ground? And of course, to help us unpack this, we're joined by the Sinazongo Town Council Secretary, Ms. Cholwe Maunga. Good morning, madam, and welcome to the Sunrise Breakfast Show today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right. Now, you are managing a district that is now receiving unprecedented levels of funding under CDF. What tangible changes can you significantly or confidently point to and say this is the impact of CDF in Sinazongo?
Thank you very much. Sinazongo district has seen a lot of development in the recent past. From the funding that we have received from 2022 to 2025, we've managed to do about 71 projects. And of course, a few coming from the 2021 funding. We've managed to complete 71 projects, and these are at a cost of 56 million Zambian kwacha. Those are community projects. In terms of secondary bursaries, we've managed to sponsor about 2,692 learners. We've managed to sponsor other learners in terms of skills training, about 1,598 of them, at a cost of 14.3 million kwacha. We've managed to empower our community members in terms of empowerment grants to a tune of 10.8 million kwacha. And these are about 410 clubs that have been funded. In terms of empowerment loans, we've given out about 13.9 million kwacha to about 130 businesses. Now, if I give you a total of what we have spent so far in terms of the CDF, it's about 104.9 million kwacha. And I would want to just highlight that among these, we have different sectors that have been transformed and changed. We have put together classroom blocks. We have completed a total of 11 classroom blocks, that is in terms of construction. We've been able to rehabilitate about 4 classroom blocks. We've been able to still consider, even as we speak, we have about 6 that are still under construction. Now, in most rural areas, one of the challenges that were there were that learners used to sit on the floor. As a district, we've managed to lift about 5,080 pupils off the floor by procuring 2,540 desks. We've been able to observe in some places like Siansalama School, where we put up a staff house. We've put up some health posts, maternity annexes. I would want to highlight one particular health post called Muchekwa. In Muchekwa, it's close to our hearts. Even last week when we were collecting our deliverables as a district, we saw how the people of Muchekwa have appreciated the coming of that project. We put up a staff house, we put up a water reticulation system there, we put up an ablution block at Muchekwa. Now, for these people of that area, they used to move as long as 8 kilometers, 7 kilometers to access health facilities in Siatwinda and other neighboring areas. This is a community that has a population of over 1,700 people, and with the growth in terms of the way Sinazongwe has been growing, we could estimate it's close to about 3,000 now, away from the statistics that we were given earlier. I could share with you a documentary that we have done where you hear testimonies of the people of Muchekwa appreciating. As a district, as a council, we had to ensure that we use administrative means to place somebody at the staff house. And when this person was at the staff house and started operating, we've seen a lot of people turning up. And for them, having an ablution block with flushable toilets, they have testified it's amazing for the people. So when I talk about the community projects that we've done in the health sector, we've completed about 10 of them. These are 4 health posts that come with an ablution block each, and also some maternity annexes, 2 of them, and these are 6. About 3 staff houses as well. We've also done equipment. One of the things that you will learn about Sinazongwe is that it's a hilly district, and we tend to have a lot of challenges in terms of crossing points, in terms of road network. So what we have done is we procured some earth moving equipment to a tune of 13 million kwacha plus a bulldozer, a low bed, and a grader. We've been able, through this machinery, to open up roads. We managed to open Kafwambila Road, just clearing it, about 20 kilometers done. We have also worked on another road that was quite challenging, the Sinazeze-Chiabi Road. We've done about 35 kilometers of that. And right now we are working on a stretch of about 90 kilometers. That is Mamba Kayuni Road.
Okay.
Quite a challenging road because of the tracks that that we have.
Now let me take you back to, you did mention of Muchekwa Health Post.
Yes.
Obviously there's also Lusinga, which were initiated as far back as 2021 and 2023 and are still incomplete. Why are these projects dragging on for years despite increased funding?
Okay, thank you, Rhoda. What I must say is for Muchekwa, as I've already indicated, it's already open and it's functional as we speak. If you come there today, you'll find the people in that community actually accessing health services from Muchekwa. We have a member of staff working at Muchekwa Health Post, and community members are very excited about that project. Now, Muchekwa was not opened as soon as the health post was done. We have to ensure that first we work on a staff house, and then also we work on an ablution block, and also we put up the water reticulation system to operationalize it. And now it is open, functional, in a manner that we could be proud of. Now, when we come to Lusinga, the health post is done. The water system as well is done, and we are very proud of that. And under the 2026 funding, we are considering a staff house there. And we hope it will be completed in the earliest possible time so that that health post can be operationalized and work as efficiently as Muchekwa is working right now.
Okay, now let's talk about quality. Residents have raised serious concerns about substandard work on water reticulation systems in areas like Chiabi, Sinazongwe, and of course Sianyuka. Now there are allegations that pipes are being laid too shallow, of course raising fears about durability and safety. Are we getting value for money for these projects, or are we setting ourselves up for, costly repairs in the near future?
Thank you very much. Now, water reticulation is one issue that is close to our hearts as a local authority in Sinazongwe, and we're very passionate about it. If there's any challenge that the local people of Sinazongwe have, it's water. And what we have done as a local authority, in answering your question, is we have put up 23 water reticulation systems, and we are still counting because others are underway. And these water reticulation systems that we have done have cost about 10,014,500, and they come with a network of about 200 taps. In our district, we had people that could only draw water from shallow wells, people who could only draw water from the lake. I'm sure you're aware we have about 140 kilometers of the Lake Kariba, and being beaten by crocodiles. But what we have done is provided clean piped water in these 23 sites with a network of over 200 taps. Now, when we talk about quality issues in terms of the standard of the work, I'll only remember one case among the areas that you've mentioned, a place called Muzio. Because of the setup of the place, it's prone to erosion. So at times you find maybe some pipes would tend to be exposed, but that would still be worked on. What we do as a local authority, or should I say as local authorities, as we manage these contracts, there is some money that we retain. And we retain this money up to the end of the defectability period. So should there be any such challenges, and even noting any that you would bring up or anybody would bring up, we'll definitely take advantage of such funding to actually work on them.
Okay. But is there like some sort of quality control mechanisms that you put in place, and have any contractors been, penalized for poor workmanship in such cases?
Okay. As Sinazongo, we haven't yet recorded a case where we had to penalize a contractor. But as I have mentioned, we do ensure that we check. There have been a few instances where a contractor is working on something. This retention is held for a reason, because we know that in projects there could be cracks, there could be mistakes. So in any event where there's a crack or any such, we are able to ask someone to redo their work. So the fact that it is known and it is part of contractual obligation that we can ask somebody to redo the work, that is how we also ensure that quality is maintained. Yeah.
All right, so one other thing that you did mention in the developments is the issue of roads. And of course, we do know that road infrastructure remains a major concern, despite directives from the Republican president to prioritize feeder roads. Many in Sinazongwe remain in a deplorable state. Now, of course, we would also want to ask ourselves, why is progress seemingly slow, in the area, despite available funding?
Thank you very much. I'll tell you that looking at it from our point of view, we would say that we have achieved quite a lot. I'll give you an example of a year like 2024, where we had approved projects totaling 23 and 21 were done. I remember this quite vividly because just last week we were at Park the entire week, on Monday and on Thursday. And this is one of the things that we had to talk about. So out of 23 projects, you remain with 2, and with very good reasons that we won't go into right now. But in responding to your question, I'll tell you that we've done quite a lot in terms of road network. I did mention the 35 kilometers, the Senazase Road, the 20 kilometers on Kafwambila Road, and an extra 5 kilometers, Chiabi Ijongola Road. Now, we are taking advantage of the fact that we have these earth-moving equipment, and right now, as we speak, on the 90-kilometer stretch that we are currently working on, that is Mwemba Kayuni, we have partnered with local people, local business houses, Evergreen Energy, Zongwe Farms, and Sezik Mining. We're working on this road together. And interestingly, in Sinazongwe, even residents, when we've had meetings to work on the roads, they have committed even just to providing what people would actually use. Some would say, I'll give a goat for people to eat as this road is being done. And the goodwill that we have from the local business houses is also helping us. But also I must mention that Sinazongwe is prone to crossing points on these roads being cut off. Because we also have farmers in Sinazongwe, by the way, and we expect them to be able to take their merchandise to the right markets. Now, one of the things government has done for us is helped through the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. We recently completed the Malozulozi Bridge. We are also being funded as we speak. 5 crossing points are being funded. They've been approved, and these are Nakula, Kalonga Kabalea, Kasika, Donga in Mwemba Ward, and Chanzovu. These are very bad crossing points, and you know how expensive a crossing point is. You could not, even when you can grade, as we have been doing, we needed central government to come in, which they have done, and there would definitely be a lot of unprecedented development in terms of a road network, which will help us because as we speak as a district, we are also a mining district. We have so much reservoir of coal as a district, and there are a lot of trucks passing through. So these crossing points are very critical. And talking about coal, we have about 11 mines currently operational, and these are using these very roads that we're talking about. So what we do need as a district is to really invest in climate resilient roads, and that will really help us.
So would you safely say that this equipment has, helped to improve service delivery and has made a huge difference when it comes to development?
A whole lot. A whole lot. When I went to Sinazongwe in 2023, around April, May. I was quite stuck looking at how the road is. But then, with the coming of equipment, we've been able to open up quite a number of roads. We've been able to do a lot. And I must mention that we are also in 2 billion Zambian kwacha, and a number of crossing points of those have been completed. And as well as ourselves, as a local authority, we are working on the township roads, upgrading them to bituminous standard. And the first layer of surfacing has been done, waiting for the second. And we're very hopeful that as the rain comes to a stop, we'll definitely make much more considerable progress. Sinazongwe is not what it used to be. There's a lot of development in terms of road network, and we appreciate the goodwill from government. We've received a lot of funding for crossing points and roads. Trust me, for a district like Sinazongwe, no matter how much you can grade, without corresponding efforts to work on the crossing points, it wouldn't work. But the major issue was the Mamba Batuka Road as well. But that has been worked on. We are doing our part in terms of grading, and I must say, we are on the right path.
All right, now let's address, one of the flagship projects, Sinazeze Market. It was indicated that the project was 98% complete as of November last year. 5 months down the line, residents say there is little to no visible progress. So now the question is, what exactly is holding back this particular completion? And can you also give the people of Sinazongwe a firm, realistic completion date?
Thank you very much. We are happy to report that this market is actually complete. We recently ran an advert where we've asked people to apply for the shops in the market, which they did. And I must say, before the end of April, we should deliver in terms of opening the market. It's a very big market. I don't know if you've taken interest in that market. It's one market that you can't capture with your camera. You need a drone to capture it. So it will take up a lot of traders. We expect over 1,000 people to be accommodated there. And we believe this will also come as a huge benefit to the local authority. We expect to make some money. So when you ask what we're doing about it, I would want it to be opened like yesterday, so that we can also get some money from there, which will help us provide other services within the market and within.
Now, away from that, let's talk about governance.
Leaders, I'll say it is Sinazongwe. First of all, I have a very good working relationship with our council chairperson, who is also a councillor in the making, and with his councillors. So what we have done is created a system where once councillors present any issue to the council chairperson, he quickly alerts me, and at times he would encourage them to actually talk to me. Because at times in local government there could be some kind of bureaucracy where you say, okay, for me to get through to this officer, I need to go through first the council chairperson first. But the council chairperson ensures that he doesn't delay that process, and he insists that councillors should be able to engage with me. And one of the things that I've personally done, I remember sometime not too long ago, just organizing a meeting, asking the council chairperson for permission to just meet with my management and the councillors, just to have a chat with them and agree on what development means in their area. What are their priorities? Because there are times where, as management, you can have a very good work plan. But remember, the councillors are on the ground, and no matter what you can do, if the councillors do not agree with their people on the ground that this is what they need, it means you're shooting in the dark. And I think it has helped us quite a lot. And it is one area in Sinazongwe where you can get a call from a councillor or even a resident just to say thank you. I remember one day I got a call from a resident, and I was thinking, oh, this is late, what is it? And this person just says, oh, and I was like, oh wow. And I was able to engage the councillor and say, thank you very much for this feedback that we're getting from your people, because it means councillors are also communicating on the ground with their people.
Now, obviously, there are, a lot of perceptions that there is a disconnect between the council administration and elected leaders. And some stakeholders accuse you of being frequently absent from the office due to meetings. Do you believe that you're accessible enough, to the people that you serve, despite these perceptions?
Thank you very much. That is a perception that I have come to understand. I've worked in local government for 19 years now. And when I was in middle management, there was a time when I used to wish my principal officer could be in the office every other day. What I have come to learn now is that this is a job that comes with a lot of responsibilities outside the district and within the district. Most recently, we were running elections, rather delimitation issues, for instance, and we had to go to the province to have meetings. I talked about an example of where the whole week I was in Lusaka attending to park issues on Monday and on Thursday. That is not a function that you could maybe delegate. Talk about today. You invited me here. I'm here. And being on this set or show, after appearing at Park, for me, I thought it was a great opportunity to talk about our district, or at least that was my expectation, that we would definitely talk about the development that is happening in Sinazongwe. But what I have done is, if you check our Facebook page, if there's anything that you will see me do, is also visit sites. I like to be present. I also like to work with my PR team and my personal secretary, just to ensure that members of the public are assured that they have access to me. And obviously through this program, they are able to follow that. At any given time, members of the public, first of all, they are able to call me. Other than being able to call me, they are able to come through to the office. And there are certain meetings that we are able to delegate. I make sure that I do that. But certain meetings or programs like the ones I've cited where I'm not able to delegate, I'm called in my personal capacity, I make sure I'm there. But one of the things that I love about rural service is that, especially the people of Sinazongwe, they are very civic, they're very passionate, they know what they want, and they communicate. And even now, my doors are very open, and I ensure that as soon as I get back to the office, I report. I'll give you an example. On Thursday, we were done at Park. On Friday, I was in the office. And today I'm here. And from here, I'm reporting to another service and then back at the office. So if you are going to be effective as a leader, it's important to move. When I was sourcing for funds for the Malozilozi Bridge from the ministry, I remember having to travel. You know why? At one point, I was exposed to a situation where we were going for burial of a resident, and the crossing point just around Malozilozi area, a different crossing point, was damaged. And what they said was, Council Secretary, just stand here, let the vehicles pass, you can wave at the coffin. And I said, no. The whole point of going for a funeral is to go and greet the person that has lost a loved one. But I said, this is what we go through every day. And I said, let me go through this with them. And we crossed on foot. They carried the coffin on their heads. And that was, for me, a turning point to say, if I don't push for such crossing points, then what will happen? Again, the people of Malozilozi would have to do that. But we were funded, and here we are. So movement rather is necessary at times, but of course with caution, because definitely our people, there are certain things that they just feel they have to express to the council secretary, and I'm available. Thank you.
Now, with such significant public funds being utilized, transparency becomes critical. How open is the council to public scrutiny? Of course, people want to know how some of these funds are being used, but how open are you to public scrutiny?
Thank you. As a local authority, one of the things that we have done is we want to have a very good media presence, especially through our Facebook page and through our website. From time to time, we post our projects, and when we post the projects, for instance, that we are doing, we ensure that we put the cost there, or if somebody asks for the cost of the project, we're able to share it. Public scrutiny, I'll tell you, is something that I personally would not prevent anybody from, but then it's something that I also want to ensure that it gives me the right feedback. Okay. One of the other things that we've done is that the local authority, we've put basically just a suggestion box, and we also have some suggestion registers at our barrier, where you're able to suggest what you would want or even make a correction of what we could do.
Okay.
But would also want to flaunt our successes. Last year, as a local authority, we were awarded by the Local Government Association of Zambia for water reticulation projects that we've done using the CDF. And we got a lot of praises, but I also noticed other people create a post on our Facebook page, their feedback. But people must know this is what we expect. So when we do scrutiny, is it possible that we would also give the positives as well? Trust me, local authorities have come from quite far. And with the amount of funding that we have access to and the major developments that we have brought to our district, talk about 71 projects being completed in a space of 3 years. That is quite a lot. And obviously, as you execute, expectations are different. People have their own views. So I think for us as a local authority, and that is why we even have the feedback box that I talked about, is because we are open. We want to hear. Because at the end of the day, remember, there are people who feel Sinazongwe is their home. We are there to serve them in a manner that they will actually appreciate at the end of it all.
All right. Now, finally, looking ahead, what should the people of Sinazongwe expect in the next 6 to 12 months? And what legacy do you personally want to leave in terms of development in the district?
Thank you very much. In the next 6 months, we expect the people of Sinazongwe to see a lot of progress. First of all, in terms of the road network, as I've indicated, funding is available for the Mamba Batoka Road, for the township roads. And in terms of the township roads, we're actually expanding. We started off at 10.5. We are now extending to, we've extended to 14 kilometers. And there are other roads that we would want to include. Why? Because Sinazongwe stands tall and beautiful. It's a stretch of 140 kilometers of the Lake Kariba with a lot of potential for tourism development. We want to see more. The government of the Republic of Zambia is also putting up harbor infrastructure on the Lake Kariba. Within the next few months, that project is going to start with cold room facilities for our people. And remember, predominantly Sinazongwe district is engaged in fishing. So we expect that our people will trade better that way. And I must mention as well, as I said, we have some more water reticulation systems coming up. The Sinazeze market, they should expect to see it open. We also expect the residents of Sinazongwe to see a lot more infrastructure under the 2026 CDF. There are a lot of mining companies that are coming up and others that are coming up to produce power. We have over 5 companies now interested in solar investment, investing in solar, and others investing in solar energy. So we expect that our farming communities and others will have enough power, and as a district, we actually expect to extend what we are giving to the nation in terms of power generation. Sinazongwe is on fire. It's a growing district, it's a developing district. And all we ask for the people of Sinazongwe is let them communicate with us as a local authority. We are open to knowing their priorities. We have funds that are available. One of the beautiful things that they should continue seeing is, I'll tell you, we have done solar lighting, street lighting in areas. These are villages, Malima, Siansoa, and Siabaswi, to a tune of 2 million plus under the Zambia Devolution Support Program. For us, we feel privileged because, look, Zambia is a country that has signed the SADC Protocol on Gender and Development. And what we expect is that we'll make the streets safe for women and children. So the people of Sinazongwe should expect more street lighting and a lot more improvements. Even to other existing markets, we have plans to rehabilitate markets such as Mamba Market, which has some damages to it.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Maunga, for taking time to talk to us about some of these critical issues in Sinazongwe and developments as well. We're so glad that you came through to our Sunrise Breakfast show this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
All right, so of course, some of these conversations do not end here. We'll definitely be following up with what's happening in Sinazongwe and some of the developments, obviously, and what else is, going to be taking place in that particular district. But now let's take a look at what else is making headlines across the country this morning. 2 residents injured by rubber bullets during a police operation to disperse a crowd in Livingstone's Maloney compound have accused some officers of harassment. The incident occurred when police moved in to restore order as residents gathered around an elephant carcass. However, the injured individuals claim they were not part of the group and were instead caught up in the situation while passing along the main road. Speaking to Prime TV2 News, 2 of the 3 injured victims have since called for justice, maintaining that they were innocent bystanders. One of the victims narrated that he was on his way to a nearby clinic with his wife when he encountered police officers at Sakubita Bridge. He also alleged that officers confronted him, beat him, and discharged rubber bullets, leaving him injured. The victims have since sought medical attention and are now appealing for authorities to investigate the matter and ensure accountability. Kolombota Mwanngombe has the details.
This is what transpired yesterday in Livingstone after an elephant carcass was found in Linda area near Sakubita Bridge. Local residents scrambled for meat. Now reports indicate that when police arrived at the scene, local residents could not leave the carcass. Police allegedly unleashed tear gas and rubber bullets, leading to 3 people being injured. 2 of the 3 people that were injured have however given their own story where they claim that they were not part of the stampede that surrounded the carcass.
Iguseni jiro ndaganya mpuganganda abaga intu bangu ndari gusindigira abaga intu guchiteni ku Maramba clinic. Ponya chigisiga bridge awa. Ndagabona mota ya police ZP 2751 B bagaseruka bagapogola batariga gulizyama mantoboro mujuru abantu bagatariga gukigira mutara bridge then mebo ndagabola mpamunyano mpondimvwi bagapogola ne bagamana gutandani abantu ogia bagayita buti bagabola gulindime balamba yo efikikarayo ufuna cyane pano ndata ndinka kumalamba sizi programme guti na guli gigitigidano bali bagapogola mbo bagatariga gundi pushinga agundu umabayi gusure then ndije ndabyo gusigaga distance iga shonto vyo ndazombwa jintu dunkawa ndizoje bugeso walizya ntoboro yarira
twale antofitanga fani tulofumana to antofumana to fale police connect ro nganga ape kuni natanto ona mtoye bani olofalize kwa mkokoto kwa.
They have questioned the manner in which police officers conducted themselves in this matter, calling for justice.
Imzovu yagafidiride budown ogia ponya bagapogola bali blocking abantu mulodomu agunona babantu sena jirimu mulawu.
But Southern Province Police Commanding Officer Mono Namalongo, in an interview with Prime TV, says he will make a follow-up on the matter.
What I hear is that they were just trying to chase the people that were busy cutting and sharing the same carcass. And until the Zawa people went there, they will inform me.
The Ministry of Tourism also confirmed in a statement the discovery of an elephant carcass in Linda area of Livingstone, urging the local people to be reporting such incidences to relevant authorities. Kolombota Mwanngombe reporting, Prime TV News in Livingstone, Southern Province.
Then from the story we go to where?
People of districts and Namwala in Southern Province, cutting off residents from essential services, including access to schools and healthcare facilities. Speaking during his visit to the site, Monza District Commissioner Mwanza Malambo said the bridge was washed away as a result of people fishing and blocking culverts with logs, causing poor water flow. He also stated that people fishing at the bridge site have been blocking culverts with logs in order to fish properly, which has caused damage to the bridge as the structure lacked the capacity to hold heavy water flow, leading to its destruction. Mr. Malambo has since warned members of the public about government punishment if they continue using poor methods of fishing that have caused damage to the Bwengwa bridge. And John Shikabe has the details in this report.
Heavy rains have wreaked havoc in Monza district of Southern Province, resulting in the collapse of the Bwengwa Bridge. This bridge serves as a crucial link between the people of Namwala and Monza district, providing access to essential services like schools, healthcare facilities and markets. However, with its collapse, residents are now cut off from these vital services, causing great inconvenience and hardship.
So at the moment, because of this disaster, no vehicle can be able to pass here. So we'll be very affected, and our farmers who depend on selling livestock, they will be very affected. And you know, the district of Monza also depends, as a local authority, we depend on the revenues, the charges that we are getting through livestock. So the council will be very affected. It will lose about 2% of our local income.
Monza District Commissioner Mwanza Malambo recently visited the site to assess the damage and determine the cause of the bridge's collapse. He revealed that the root cause of this unfortunate incident was human actions.
A very serious anomaly where our people, they block water so that they are able to do their fishing. And as a result of that, it has even weakened this old bridge. It has weakened this old bridge. As a result, part of it is washed away because the water had to use force to pass it through. Otherwise, as of now, I'm confident and I'm very happy that the engineer has promised us and he's with us on the site to see that things are done. Otherwise, soon or later, our people will have access. We are just waiting for this volume of water to go.
According to the district commissioner, the people in the area had been fishing at the bridge site and obstructing culverts with logs. This practice has resulted in a poor water flow, putting a strain on the bridge's capacity, ultimately leading to its collapsing. Mr. Malambo has also urged the community to use proper fishing methods, which not only promote sustainable fishing practices, but also safeguard infrastructure from such damages.
Because we don't want our people to lose lives here because of few individuals who are doing that.
As a result, the district commissioners called on the community to support the government's efforts by refraining from using inappropriate fishing methods. He has assured the public that measures are being put in place to restore the Bwengwa Bridge. John Shikabe, Prime TV News, in Monza District, Southern Province.
What do we stand for? We stand for possibility, for the belief that every tomorrow begins with a choice made today. We stand for growth, for curiosity that pushes boundaries, for knowledge that prepares you not just to adapt, but to lead. We stand for community, for minds that don't just think, but connect, for hands that don't just build, but uplift. We stand for experiences that shape you, for friendships that anchor you, for courage that carries you beyond this place. Here you become more than a student. You become a maker of solutions, a believer in dreams, a contributor to something greater than yourself. This is where purpose meets possibility. This is where futures are built. University, where you stand for what matters.
Early in the morning, fire on the stove, love in a pie, that's the life we know. From the fields to the table, every bite it shows. Primarily me, the taste of home. Primarily me, the taste of home. Primarily me, the taste of home. Mama in the kitchen, we never eat alone. Primarily me, the taste of home.
Prime Meal, pure, proudly Zambian, the taste of home.
Before 2022, millions of Zambian children stayed home, not because they didn't want to learn, but because school was unaffordable for many families. Today, things are much better. No more tuition fees, no more PTA fees, and no more examination fees. More than 2.5 million children are back in class across the country, from villages to towns, from the cities to the districts and provinces. Schools are feeding our children and classrooms are full again. And with the enhanced Constituency Development Fund, communities around Zambia are transforming education. More classrooms are being built, more desks are being made, more teachers are being hired. Because Bali cares. He has delivered this for all children across Zambia. Because free education is not just a policy, it is a promise to every Zambian child, a promise that poverty will not decide their future. A promise delivered.
Why keep your business in the dark? Shine a spotlight on your brand with Prime TV2.
Has been assaulted by the ant.
Zambia's first ever 24-hour news channel and a trusted platform that helps business grow.
Botswana, of course, behind me is the Kazungola Bridge. And
we broadcast on Topstar, channel 110, DTH platform, and reach an expanding digital audience through our Facebook page, PTV2 Zambia.
Projects that have been dotted across the country.
Advertise with us today. Contact our marketing team on 0978 71 9477. Prime TV2, the home of breaking news.
If it's not on Prime TV2, verify it. Our dedicated reporters across the country bring you accurate, well-researched news, keeping you informed 24/7. Catch us on Topstar Channel 110 and follow us on Facebook at Prime TV2 Zambia. Prime TV2, the home of breaking news.
Hi, my name is Constance Nalishebo Mleawe, the mayor of Livingston. I also happen to be the 8th wonder of the world, and you are watching Prime TV2.
henna muligisi idekoda ya Topstar amwebere magani atugwa munchiri agasimpe amumasena mukala ambunga abahimu wezelela twambo bahomega abahimulimo twamwetela magani muhyogo yonse hajihi ana majaja wa Prime TV2 channel 110 ninganda ile tamagani mbwabele.
After Sinazongwe, we still continue in the southern province, where we are joined by our reporter, able reporter John, on the ground to bring the unfortunate stories that are unfolding in Monze there, basically Wenga and Namola, where we have an issue with a bridge. John, welcome to the interview.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, please. Is the real situation on the ground? What is obtaining to our great people on the ground? And I know that you've experienced floods. How long has it been raining? And what paints the picture? How does it feel like?
I think for 3 to 4 days now, Southern Province has been experiencing a heavy downpour, especially in Monze district. So these rains, they have destroyed a number of infrastructures, as also as cutting off some community members from accessing essential services in other areas. So it is a vital link that connects the people of Namwara and Monze district. So if people are coming from Namwara going to do business in Monze, maybe also in Lusaka, they cross this point going to do their various services. Also, the people that are staying on the other side of the Wengwa River, they also access various services on in Wengwa and Monze district. So currently, the people are struggling to access various services because the bridge was washed away by heavy rains following the 3 days heavy downpour that has been experienced in the district. So currently people who are coming from Namwara are stranded on the other side of the river, and although people who are coming from Monze district wants to access Namwara, they are also facing the same challenge in terms of accessing other services. Then the children who are coming on the other side, they have a challenge also of accessing lessons at Wengwa Primary and Wengwa Secondary School.
Mr. John, when we talk about the situation, I know it's critical, and in terms of the destruction, how could you describe and the level of destruction? What indeed has been destroyed by this rainfall? Would you paint us a picture really and tell us that maybe 20 houses, maybe the healthy facilities, maybe this, what is the level of destruction, and maybe what's the population of the area that we're talking about?
When we talk of the infrastructures that have been maybe destroyed, on the other side of the district, like in Monze Central, about 10 or 15 houses have collapsed, especially in Kachimba area and Simanansa area, where some houses have collapsed, leaving people without shelter. Then also the Murumba Bridge. There's a bridge that links people of Mayaba Ward to Murumba Main Hospital. It's also impassable because it collapsed recently, I think 2 days ago. So,
and talking about other means, what alternative routes are there for them to use, if any?
If you want to access, for instance, if you want to use Murumba Hospital, for those who want to go to Murumba Hospital, unless they use St. Mary's Road, which is about, which will take them about 15 to 20 kilometers. The distance that is supposed maybe to be covered for 2 to 3 kilometers, you need to spend maybe 10 to 15 kilometers to reach that place. Then those who are using the Bwengwa route, if you want to access Monze district, you need to cover about 200 to 300 kilometers for you to reach Monze town using the Choma route. So it's quite a huge challenge, especially for those who are doing business, issues to do with expenditure, for you to access various facilities.
Okay, now John, coming back to human life and emergencies, of course, this, like we said, is critical. Are there situations where lives have been put at risk? Emergency issues, for instance, delivery. If a woman has to deliver, moving a distance like that, 15 kilometers, can be quite a risk and can put the life of a mother and the family in danger. Have there been such situations that you've reported or aware about?
I think currently there is no such a situation that has come up. Maybe as days goes on, if there's a delayment to work on those two critical crossing points I've mentioned, we might experience such challenges. Let's take for instance, for you to access like medical facility at Bwengwa Health Facility. Those people are staying on the other side. They need to go to Mbeza, which is about, again, 30 to 40 kilometers to reach Mbeza for you to go to a clinic. So,
John, go ahead, John. Go ahead. John, go ahead.
So it's quite a very challenging issue, especially when we talk of issues to do with maternal cases. So people need to go to travel 40 kilometers. So for instance, you don't have transport. How would you reach that place? So it's quite very challenging.
Thank you, John, for that feedback, and of course we expect results to that effect. Talking about this bridge, John, it's relatively new. We are told, and concerns are being raised by the people of the two respective areas that perhaps the bridge has collapsed too fast, too soon. What is your take?
This bridge is an old bridge because the new bridge is still under construction. They are not yet done with the new bridge. They are still using the old bridge. So this bridge has not, I think, gone any rehabilitation from the time it was constructed. And if you go at the same site of the bridge, there are people who are doing fishing. And when they are doing fishing, they are also leaving some dirt there in the water.
Yes, John, are you there?
That contributed to the damage of the bridge.
Hello, John? Yeah, continue, John. I at some point, I think I lost in connection, but continue. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I'm saying this is an old bridge. So the new bridge is currently under construction. So, and the contractors assured that this year they will manage to hand over the new bridge. I think maybe our viewers should understand that the bridge that we are talking about is an old Bwengwa bridge that is currently being used. So the new bridge is still under construction.
Okay, John, before we investigate perhaps the new bridge, let's get back
because the impression is perhaps we're dealing with a new bridge. But thank you for that clarification. How old is the old bridge, and how long has it been in existence? And has something like this ever happened to this bridge?
This is the first time where we're experiencing that people are experiencing this challenge on the Bwengwa bridge. This is an old bridge that has been created maybe I think ages. that's what I can say. It has been there. Yes.
Okay. So older than you, John?
This older than you, John?
Yes.
Is the bridge older than you?
Is the bridge older than you?
Very old.
And we are also made to believe that the people who have been affected, some of them come from Kazungula Bridge, and other crossing points have been compromised. Is this the case?
Yes, that's the case, because there are people who are coming from, there are these two major crossing points, the Bwengwa one and the Kazungula. These are the district. Most of the people, Monze district depend on people from rural communities who come to do some business activities in the area. So with this current situation that they're experiencing, it's quite a huge challenge on them, and a big loss in terms of business, as well as loss from the local authority in terms of collecting maybe levy from the traders.
And talking about places that are
by this problem, of course, to some extent you have highlighted that poor fishing methods also are responsible in a way. Which areas are hit hardest in this regard?
I think I'll say Kazungula and Bwengwa.
Kazungula.
Yes, Bwengwa, people, they do fishing on the site for the same bridge that has been washed away. That's where they are doing the fishing. So after they're doing the fishing, these poor methods they are using. Some they even cut rocks, they just throw them in the water. some they broke the culverts so that is that low flow of water, so that they managed to catch fish properly without realizing that they are causing damage to the bridge.
Okay, has there been sensitization in this regard? Where
That if this continues, it may cause untold damages.
Yes, members of the public have been always sensitized, told with issues to do with cutting down trees and throw them in the streams. Every time they are being told that these things that you are doing, whereby you are throwing logs, throwing other dirty things in the rivers, one day they will create a situation that will also affect your lives. So there has been that sensitization to the members of the public. It's just that people are very difficult, especially in terms of understanding and taking things serious. But now they have seen, because yesterday when we went to the scene for Wengwa Bridge, they saw how a number of logs that were being removed from the culverts.
Now, John, talking about what is happening, could this be a regional problem or just an isolated situation? What do you think? Because we see that it's affecting more than just the people, in one area. Could this be a regional problem?
In southern, probably for I think in south, I can say it's a regional problem because. One, we also talk of the government have not put much effort in terms of working on the critical crossing points, especially through this increased CDF funds. They have not invested much to do with the critical crossing points. So there has been that call from especially traditional leaders, also members of the public, in terms of government investing in critical points as they also work on the road infrastructures.
Solutions. Now, how are people? What are people doing basically to cope with the situation? Because there must be mitigation efforts on the ground. How are people coping?
Currently, the local leadership working together with the GMMU and China Geo, the contractor who is working on the Monzeniko. It's a critical, it's a vital crossing point. So they are pushing in efforts to see to it that they repair the bridge.
Okay, you talked about there are people traveling 15 kilometers.
Find an alternative. Are there any other safe alternative that people can use? In this case, those who are listening to us, just to know that perhaps they could exploit one or two alternatives, safe alternatives per se.
Like for Murumbwa, currently there is no any plans that have been made apart from the same ones of using the 15 kilometers to go to Murumbwa Hospital. Because we try to follow up from with the Monze Town Council, maybe trying to find out whether they have any plans to work on the bridge. Currently, they said they are still making maybe plans to respond to the situation. But as the way things are now, people will still be covering that 15 kilometers to access Murumbwa main hospital. Even the ambulance will also be using the other route.
Wow.
Indeed. And talking about the local authorities, what are they saying besides the reports that we get that people should desist from doing this? Is there anything the local authorities are doing, and what have they said to you, the media?
Like yesterday when we went there, the DC had to talk to especially those guys who are doing fishing at Wengwa Bridge, telling them that the government will now not tolerate any misbehavior, especially for you who are doing illegal fishing, of you cutting down trees and you throw them to block the culverts. I think they have set rules now that they will no longer tolerate such. It seems that they want also to engage the Ministry of Fisheries, probably to remove those people who are doing fishing there at the bridge site.
Okay, John, you did
this bridge is ancient, maybe slightly more ancient than the two of us from the time it was made. Could we say that there is a gap in planning and implementing and enforcing new laws? Because if the new bridge has been recently made, then there's been a lot of time that has passed when this issue should have been addressed. What is your take on this?
I think what I'll say, there has been also probably maybe a weakness on the other side of the law enforcers in terms of maybe engaging with a member of the public to look at sustainable ways of protecting such infrastructure from damage. I think there has been a weakness from the relevant authority in terms of engaging members of the community.
Well, okay.
Coming back to, as we wind up, we are looking at infrastructure. Do you think that as a country we are prepared enough as government? Is there a response to this effect to ensure that these issues are not repeated, not only in your area but around the country? Because floods, are reported widespread across the country. Do you think we are ready as a country? We are doing enough, as people, local leaders, and local authorities?
I think my response would be we are not ready as a country, because if we were ready, we wouldn't have been experiencing such situation every year when we have heavy rains. We experience heavy rains in the country. We would have been experiencing such situations. Take, for instance, the country is campaigning, is working on the issue of reducing the maternal mortality rate in the country. But with such poor crossing point, how will that reduce? So we are not ready as a country. So there's much need to be done, especially with issues to do with infrastructure, so that we are not able to experience such calamities in the future.
John, before I let you off the hook, would you just tell us
of Wenger and Namwala in this regard, what period has been promised that things will come back to normalcy, as the president was saying, normalcy? Is there any definite promise to the people? Is there any word of hope we can give them as you and me say goodbye?
Hope is there, because currently now, as I'm talking to you, on the same damaged bridge. So I think within 2 or 3 days, I think works there will be done and people will be able to cross smoothly.
Okay.
So interview, I'll be rushing to Gwenga, then we'll give members of the public the latest update. But otherwise, hope is there that things will be done.
John, thank you so much for giving us a real-time update on the ground. We salute you. We are grateful for such an accurate update of activities on the ground.
Thank you very much.
John, our reporter all the way from Monze, giving us live updates from Wenger and Namwala, where we have a bridge and crossing points heavily challenged, and in 3 days we expect to see restoration and hope in that area, and that our people will be able to cross normally and life will come to normalcy. Rather unfortunate, of course, as a country. I think some of these things we must say they should come to an end, where we know rain season will come, whether we pray or not, it will come year in, year out, and so we must bring
the Eastern Water and Sanitation Company has launched a mass disconnection exercise across the province due to unpaid water bills amounting to over 18 million kwacha. Speaking during a media briefing in Chipata, EWSC Managing Director Aaron Mulinda said the high debt levels have negatively affected revenue collection. He says the situation has left the water utility company to struggle to meet its financial obligations, including being 2 months behind on staff salaries. Engineer Mulinda has revealed that government institutions owe the utility company over 10 million kwacha, while domestic customers account for approximately 6 million kwacha of the outstanding amount. Details in the following report.
Eastern Water and Sanitation Company has continued to face challenges such as payment of its workers, mainly due to a huge debt owed by its customers across the province. Eastern Water and Sanitation Company Managing Director Aaron Mulinda has revealed that the company is owed over 18 million kwacha in unpaid water bills.
We've engaged government, and government has agreed to settle this debt, and there's a private state audited and verified. We are remaining with the balance that we plan to verify. Then immediately after that, we should be able to receive the payment. So some institutions are setting bills on their own, except those that are high consumers, like the correctional facilities and the hospitals. As for the local people in Eastern Province, we are embarked on mass disconnection, and I think it's a matter that we are looking into to see how best we can bring them to date in terms of delayed salaries. So you can see that I think the factors that are fitting into that, we need to enhance the revenue collection, so that this outstanding debt can definitely go into cushioning that.
Engineer Mulinda also provided an update on the water situation in Lundazi district.
Lundazi district experienced flash floods that resulted in submersion of the water treatment plant, and that called for immediate shutdown of the plant. The adverse effects of the disaster was interruption of water supply to about 4,100 house connections. That resulted in a population of over 40,000 people in the Lundazi Central Business District.
Meanwhile, Eastern Water and Sanitation Company Technical Manager, Engineer Edwin Male, bemoans the high theft of manhole covers that has resulted in blockages of sewer pipes in Chipata City.
The covers, they are being vandalized, hence allowing the debris to go into the system. So once the debris go into the system, you find that the blockages starts happening, hence the overflows which we see around. But as MD said, we are still continuing in terms of rehabilitating these manholes.
Christopher Basilio Banda, Prime TV News in Chipata, Eastern Province.
Right, you're still watching the Sunrise Breakfast Show, coming to you live on Topstar Channel 110. And of course, you can also follow our program on our digital platforms, Facebook and YouTube at PTV2 Zambia, where your voice continues to shape this conversation. Now, in another sad development, a 46-year-old woman of Chingola, identified as NLS Helen Kamutumbe, has been killed in a suspected case of mob justice in the Kisasa area of Kalumbila district. Now, the incident, which occurred on Friday, the 20th of March 2026, between 11 hours and 13 hours, was confirmed by Police Deputy Public Relations Officer Chipo Kaitisha. Police Deputy Public Relations Officer says the matter was later reported to police around 14 hours by the deceased's cousin, Mwalede Siamuchimba of Solwezi. And Ms. Kaitisha adds that the deceased had traveled to Kisasa for business when a 25-year-old man, Prince Ntambo, allegedly accused her of causing the disappearance of his private parts after physical contact at a local market. And, before we talk about, this disturbing incident that occurred in Kalumbila district, let's have a look at how, this incident, just occurred, and of course what really transpired.
Preliminary investigations indicate that the deceased had traveled to Kisasa for business purposes. Around 11 hours, a 25-year-old male identified as Prince Ntambo allegedly accused the deceased of causing the disappearance of his private parts following physical contact at a local market. These allegations sparked panic and caused a commotion, which led to the formation of a mob that violently attacked the deceased using sticks, stones, planks and other objects, inflicting multiple serious injuries. Efforts to move the victim to safety were unsuccessful as the situation escalated. The victim was briefly taken to a nearby house where she received assistance from a concerned member of the public. However, police officers who responded to the scene encountered a hostile crowd that began throwing stones and obstructing rescue efforts. Despite attempts by police to secure and evacuate the victim, the mob continued their assault, untimely resulting in her death. The body of the deceased was later retrieved by police with reinforcement after it had been abandoned along the Mwinlunga-Solwezi Road by the mob. She was rushed to Wumi Mini Hospital where she was pronounced dead on arrival. The body has since been deposited in the hospital mortuary awaiting a post-mortem examination. 8 suspects, including Mr. Prince Ntambo and other individuals from the Kisasa area, have been apprehended and are currently assisting police with ongoing investigations. During the incident, 3 police officers sustained injuries after being attacked by members of the public. Additionally, a police motor vehicle was damaged with its front windscreen shattered during an arrest. The Zambia Police Service strongly condemns this act of mob justice, as well as the violence directed at law enforcement officers. Members of the public are urged to remain calm and report suspected criminal activities to the police rather than taking the law into their own hands. Investigations into the matter have been instituted and further updates will be provided in due course.
All right, there you have it, colleagues. Very sad development. I think this is an issue that has really just been trending on social media throughout the entire weekend. Quite disturbing. You know, when I first saw that video, it was really just hard for me to even finish, you know, the entire clip of what really transpired in Kalumbila. But I don't know what your thoughts are, you know, this morning about this issue. Let's start with you, Jeremiah, and thank you so much for joining us.
Well, I think it's a very sad situation that really transpired there. Trust me, I never watched the video. I think it was too graphic for me, and it was really too bad. I've seen some pictures here and there. It was very sad, and the way people explained it was even worse. So I couldn't take my heart to watch such kind of a video. And I think it's a very sad situation, especially the fact that one person just came through and in the month where we were celebrating women, and the women never even supported her. One of the women were even in front, pushing for the agenda of killing her. The barbaric way of killing a person, it's inhuman. It's not human. And I think what the police should do is arrest everybody, especially that we've got footage that has been circulating all over, and I think they have to arrest everybody. And I'm glad that 8 have been arrested so far, which is a good thing, and they should point at others that did that. The chief also, I think they failed this young lady that was part of this, because she died a very terrible death, a very tragic death. That was a very sad situation that really transpired, and especially that it's a mob. A lot of people are happy, smiling, laughing, enjoying. And kids saw what really transpired there. They were watching from the beginning, and for them, they'll start thinking this is the way of life. You know, you have to kill anybody that is accused of something. And this thing of accusing, because I think we started from Chingola. You heard that so many people were beaten. There was a pastor that was beaten from Seventh-day Adventist. He was just coming from church, and he was beaten because they were telling. The people started lying, and I don't even know where it started from. And no evidence has been there that the private parts have been disappearing. No evidence has been there, and nobody has lost those because I think the police did an investigation. Why should you do that just for the sake of one person to be killed? And this particular person was guilty, and he started really fighting as if he is fighting for the woman. But he's the one that started and caused that confusion that transpired there. He should be arrested. And these people shouldn't be I think the president has already spoken and said, look, we have to arrest everybody that was involved. The mob that was involved in this tragic accident should be arrested, should be put to book, and the law should take its course. And I think that is what should happen. In the month that we are celebrating women is the month that she died, a very tragic death.
Yeah.
Somebody has lost the mother, somebody has lost the breadwinner, somebody has lost somebody that has been working very hard. And I think we need to start doing something instead of, because it's the idle mind. People have been idle, not doing a lot of things, not doing anything. That's why they did, they had the time and all that time for them to go and beat that woman and kill her. It's a very sad situation, and nobody's happy about it, and I would be happy to see everybody brought to book.
Well, for me, I think my case, my concern is that I think it's not an isolated incident. We are seeing these spreading, 1, 2, 3, and it's high time as a country we quickly realize that there's something brewing, and we must get to it and reacting. If we can begin to speak to the people of Zambia. We are in a year of election, and this is not very good because it is based on instability. Imagine if during ballot papers someone lies and says someone has a false ballot, you are going to have people killed. So I think that we should curb it. I appeal to Home Affairs to do something about it, and to various stakeholders, policymakers to talk to this.
Absolutely. It's indeed a very, sad and quite sensitive, situation that we are talking about this morning, and it's quite. A lot of people are really concerned, and they've aired out. I'm so glad that even on these social media platforms, people have spoken against it and just highlighted this sensitive issue. And of course, it's quite tragic that a woman lost her life, based on an accusation rooted in fear and misinformation. Of course, we must say that regardless of the claim, mob justice is really just never acceptable because it destroys lives and, of course, bypasses the rule of law, like you had mentioned earlier. And there is need to actually address this, entire situation. Really sad.
It's a very sad moment.
Yeah. All right. So moving away from that, Jeremiah, I think you are here for something very, very interesting, which is sports. Can you just take us through what's happening in the world of sport?
Well, I think the weekend was lit. There was so much that was happening, and I'll start with basketball. There's so much that really transpired, especially that we had some few games that was being played in a B League, and it has concluded. And as it stands, those are the concluding, fixtures or tables. That's how it stands, and those are the top four. The top two from this particular stand, of course, we've seen the Pacers are the champions of the B League, and they've qualified to the Premier League. They're back to the Premier League. This is the Pacers that have really have got an indelible mark in terms of our basketball. You can't talk about basketball without talking about the Pacers. This is a team that, together with Terror Magic, made history, did play a role in terms of bringing basketball to a new level in terms of the Midland Basketball Association. Of course, these are teams that have managed to exchange in terms of fights, in terms of winning, in terms of records and all that. So they're back in the Premier League. It was nobody expected them to go to Division 1, but to the B League as they call it. But it was because they didn't fight very well. There was some change that really happened. Some of the coaches changed and moved to a different new team because I think the policies changed. For Unza Pacers, it was everybody else who's been at Unza, but I think the policies changed for everybody that is at Unza. So the students are the ones who are playing. So the transition was hardly hit, and of course they had to go down, come back, and I think they really did well in as far as the Midlands Basketball League is concerned in the B League. And that's the champions now for the B League, and they've qualified back to the Premier League, and we only hope the best for them. This is a team that you can never ever talk about basketball without talking about the Pacers. And of course that is the Premier League, and this is the standings. Of course, Munadi Suns, the champions for Midlands Basketball Association. The top two will play in the National Championship. They will play in Lusaka. The number 3 and 4 will go to the Copper Belt and play from the Copper Belt. For the ladies, the same thing. The two the top two will play in Lusaka, the Village at Nasdaq Sports Complex. That's where they will play for the quarterfinals and the rest of the competition. And the winner for the competition will actually get into what they call BAO and represent the winner will represent Zambia in as far as a Basketball Africa League qualifier. And of course we know that from the 2 seasons we've been having Matero Magic being the team that has concentrated in terms of representing Zambia. They didn't do well in the last edition. They played well in the last in the qualifiers. They won all the games. In the last 16 it was really difficult for them to win even a game, but obviously last year it was the same things in the qualifiers. Though they didn't win all the games, but I think they did well, and probably they went into get into the last 16. Unfortunately they only won some few games. They couldn't win all the games, so they've got a bone to chew. They have to get back to the Basketball League Africa qualifiers and make sure that at least this time around they do better, especially after the last 16. They have to get into the Elite 16 and make sure that they pull through from there. Moving on, we had the pool tournament. I've been talking about a Mizo tournament for the longest period of time because they've been preparing, and this time around, this is the second edition of the pool tournament that really transpired happened, because this time around it's a different thing because they have to go to different provinces to go and have tournaments, and eight players qualified to the grand finale of the greatest tournaments ever. So what happened was that they went to Copperbelt, and 8 players from the Copperbelt qualified to come to Lusaka. They went to Central Province, 8 players qualified to come to Lusaka, another 3 players from Eastern Province. And they are saying next year they will have 6 more provinces joining the other provinces, so that at least they will have 6 provinces, and gradually they will be increasing numbers until we get to all the 10 provinces of the country to participate in this Amizo Cup. But obviously kudos to the sponsors who have put in money, and we know for sure that at least we had the champion that managed to win Mofia, beating so many cream de la cream. Defending champion were beaten 5-0. No answer whatsoever. It was a whitewash. He managed to beat him. He went into the finals and beat Royd Kabwe 9-7 coming from behind. In fact, he was leading 2-0, and then Royd Kabwe came back, and of course it was 5-2 at one point, and he came back and he went to win 9-7. It was an amazing game. He won 40,000 kwacha, and it's an instant 40,000 kwacha worth. So he's got money. He's swimming in money. And some people were even joking that tomorrow Mofia, Mofire has got Chinaman, yes. Mofire is going to be shopping from ShopRite instead of Young Pharaohs, because he's got 40,000 kwacha. So he's a landlord at this moment. So he managed to win it, and he's on fire. Really, he's playing very well. As you can see, that is the biggest trophy that he walked away with. It's a very beautiful trophy. The jerseys, so beautiful jerseys, and especially that the last 32 managed to get at least the jersey. So you don't, it's a souvenir. You don't just walk away. But I think the last 8, the last round of 8, they managed to win at least money. 500, and coming down, I think it kept on going up and all that, so they went out with money. So that is Mofia, managed to win it, and it was amazing for him to win 40,000 kwacha. The runners-up was Royd Kabwe, managed to get at least a 20,000 kwacha. For the ladies, they managed to get a 20 pin. These are the finalists, and of course the Juliet managed to win. She won a 20,000 kwacha. And she never even wanted to play in this particular tournament. Somebody just forced her and said, look, whatever you're doing, just stop it. You might win. And she went in to play and won 20,000 kwacha. The runners-up got a 10,000 kwacha. It's amazing to see that they managed to win it. And this is some of the organizers who were organizing. Uncle Mac, Uncle Kuma, Uncle Lolo, they were organizing this tournament. They've been around just making sure that the tournament is taking shape, and these are some of the players that came through to play, some of the players. And of course they had in the first day on Saturday they had 3 venues that were playing from, and all of them in the quarterfinals they went to Spice 8. That's where they were playing from. So it was amazing, and others were honored, and this is one thing. I think kudos to Spice 8 for and their Mizo organizers, Mizo Cup organizers, because they've really done something that a lot of people haven't really been doing. Honor somebody when they are still alive, when they can smell the flowers. Yes, and this is what happened. One of the 3 people were honored. One of them is Ngwira Tamara Ngwira is the bronze medalist. She went to, in 2022, she captained the team that managed to win a bronze medal at the World Cup in Morocco in 2022. So it's amazing. And the team was constituted 6 months before the World Cup. So they had to bring in the teams and everybody came together. They went to play. Nobody gave them a chance to even win a medal. They went on to win a bronze medal. At the last minute, they just lost it to the whisker. But of course, they managed to get a bronze medal at the first try, at the first tournament. And it's a World Cup. It's big. It's huge. They managed to get a bronze medal. And she was honored because of that. What she's really been putting in, what she really did for the team, she pushed, she made sure that nobody lacked anything for them to concentrate on pool. Another person that was honored was, of course, the president, the former president, who was the president in 2012 when Zambia won Africa Cup, first Africa Cup in pool in Malawi. He managed to win it, and was the president. He was also honored. Tom, they call him Tom Chocolate. Tom Chocolate is Tom Mijelo. So he was when he was still alive. Another person was the person that contributed immensely to some of these players that we've seen, the likes of Mofia, passed through him. The one that won, other players that like Nkandu, who was the defending champion, the winner for the first Amizo Cup, was passed through him at UTH, and he was a chairman. He did tremendously well and propelling UTH to winning 18 trophies in his tenure as a chairman. So he pushed so much, and he was honored as well. It's a beautiful thing. We'll be expecting to see beautiful things that will come through next year. We are really hoping to see the growth in terms of the numbers. Obviously, we saw more than 245 players, athletes participating. The women also increased from 19 that participated last year to 38 that came through and participated. Some of the ladies that we've never even seen before, they came through from Kobe Belt, from Kitwe, from Luapula, from different places, even those places where Amizo didn't go to go and recruit players to qualify to the tournament. They came through to participate in this game. It was amazing. The fans, it was fire. Everybody was happy to have the talking and chatting. And I think the tournament ended without any incidences of fighting and whatnot, because you know that when you have so many people at the same place, obviously you have some few hiccups here and there, but nothing of that sort happened. So it was amazing to see that particular tournament happening, and kudos to the organizers, and kudos to Amizo for sponsoring, and everybody else that came through to sponsor this tournament. And we get to Mzala Samkonga, the very first run of the season of the year. He came second. Unfortunately, Justice managed to win it. He managed to win it. Mzala Samkonga didn't even get to his personal best, unfortunately, but he came second. It's a good thing. So we'll be looking forward to see how things are just going to be. This is the winner, and of course we're looking forward to that. It was in Maseru. Maseru, that's where the tournament was, or the run was, and this is the beginning. Maybe he's just getting used to all the things, and we've got a lot of runs ahead of us. So it's a good thing from Samkonga. Let's see how he's going to pick up the pieces from there. And then we get to ABSA. ABSA, the preliminary rounds, and 10 provinces came together, played against each other. And now we are talking about 5 that have qualified into the last 16 or the round of 16 tournament, or joining the Premier League that has contributed 7 teams, and the National Division 1 that has contributed 4 teams, and of course these teams that have already come through from the 5 from different provinces of 10 provinces of the country. And this is what has been happening. Some of the results that came through, obviously there was a lot of results. Some of them, closely, like minimal results, but this was the biggest result that came through, 5-0. The Crocs, and they came in a style, singing songs and dancing as they were getting onto the pitch, but on the pitch they failed to sing the songs and they were beaten. And those are some of the games. Some of the games happened, the 2 games happened in the Copper Belt, in Kabwe. Other games came through in other games happened in Lusaka at Sunset Stadium. So those are some of the games and results that came through. Now we get to the national team. The team has been picked. George Randamina has picked the first team of that is going to play on the 31st of March against Argentina. Now, when we talk about Argentina, we're talking about Messi. So this is a big game that we have to look out for. This is a very big game, and they're comparing it's Fashion Sakala versus Lionel Messi. And of course, the team has been picked. This is a team, for those of you who didn't know, this is a team that has been picked, and they're training today. They are at University. And after the training, of course, media personnel or journalists will be asking questions to the coaches, because we've got so many questions to ask some of the players that have been left out, and what is it that they want to achieve from here. And I'm sure that the president is going to be there, so they will be asking questions. And of course, on Wednesday, I'll come back with so many questions that I will be asked to the media will ask the people that the powers that be to choose these players. And of course, we've got 2 tournaments that will be running concurrently. On the 25th, we'll have 4 nationals tournament that will be happening up to the 31st. So one will ask, when is the team traveling to Argentina to go and play against Argentina? So we're going to have 2 teams. Since we've got Oswald Mutapa Jr. is an assistant, is going to remain with, or is going to go to Botswana with the other team that is going to be named. He hasn't named the team yet. So they will be going to Botswana to play in the 4 national tournaments. That's got Zimbabwe, Malawi, Botswana, the hosts, and Zambia. And it will end on the 31st when Zambia will be playing against Argentina in the FIFA friendly game. And another team that has been picked by George Chicken Rwandamina, the new coach, is going to take it to Argentina. So we've got 2 teams. One team will play the 4 nationals team tournament, and the other team will go and play against Argentina. So those are some of the things that we had in terms of sports. It's amazing to talk about all these things, and we only hope all the best for the 2 coaches that have really been picked, and they're new to this setup. Or, of course, George Rwandamina has coached the team before, but I think they're new, like really new. They were just appointed recently, and these are the first games that they will be having, so they need to impress and, of course, win, beat Argentina. I think that's my call. I'm hoping. And I'm wishing. Building castles in there.
Mr. Jeremiah, perhaps for me the question is why Zambia keeps on going back to the past, to people like Rwandamina, when we, other countries like Morocco are prospecting for former players, like coming all the way from Barcelona, and we still keep going back in the old pool. I wonder if we've not exhausted all the energy. Anyway, I've watched Rwandamina. I have nothing very nice to say, Mr. Jeremiah, but all the best to Zambia, since I'm Zambian.
Well, yeah, I think when it comes to coaches, we do not have a big pool in terms of picking coaches for the national team setup, because I think you remember that CAF came up with qualifications that you need to have.
Yes, indeed.
And in most cases, what we've been doing in Zambia is we were certifying coaches instead of qualifying them. I'm sure you understand the meaning.
Yes.
So you've got a certificate to sit on the bench, but you don't have the credentials for you to coach a team that is going to win. So qualify the coaches. So in most cases, we had the new coaches that we had in Moses Chone. They're young, and Perry Mutapa. These are new coaches, very young, energetic, and we expected them to do better, but they didn't do well. So they were chased, because at the Africa Cup of Nations, it was a mess. And you saw what really transpired and what happened. I think it was something that we didn't want to see. It's like we were moving from Grant to the same setup. In fact, the same play of Grant came back with Moses Chone. So it's like he never learned, and he was trained in Germany. We should see the different game of Germans, how they play and how they do things. But he was too defensive. He was playing like he was trained in Italy, where they do defensive football.
Unfortunately, gentlemen, we have to pack our bags. I think time's up. I know Kizito has so many questions,
Yeah.
But we have to say our goodbyes. Thank you so much, Jeremiah, for that update. And we did have quite an amazing show. Just in case you are tuning in, you've missed out on quite a lot. But do not despair, because we'll be giving you updates of what's happening in our news throughout the entire day. We do have the first news flash at around 14:30. The next one will be at 16:30. And, of course, the last one will be at 18:30. Now, obviously, we did look at some of the stories making headlines, and we also did have an update on the situation in Monza district of Southern Province, where they have been severely affected with the heavy rains and some bridges washed away. And of course, we also did have Sinazongwe Town Council Secretary Ms. Cholwe Maunga, who did discuss with us some of the developments in the district and how they are utilizing CDF. We did also talk about the trending story right now on social media, where over the weekend a woman was killed by a mob in Kalumbila district after being accused of having, powers to make men's private parts disappear. We also did have a look at the convention that happened, yesterday with the Patriotic Front. So it was indeed a jam-packed show, but thank you so much that you could join us. We'll be back again on a very beautiful Wednesday morning, where we'll highlight some of the issues that will be happening, over the coming days. But thank you so much, Kizito, for being with me here on the show. It's always great.
Yes, thank you so much. You're looking awesome, and I'm not telling you to the highest bidder, not even Dangote. Yeah, but thank you so much. Good job. Yeah.
Thank you so much to the viewers for sending in your messages and contributions, and also to the entire production crew. My name is Rhoda Mlenga on behalf of Kizito and Jeremiah. Goodbye and God bless.
Dokota lamene akuthandiza anthu osiyanasiyana mu Zambia muno. Muperekese so mbiri konsekonse ukuli kumene ndimupita anthuwo ndimwauze chiona chenicheni eziko mukwambira mayi.
My name is Jeff Perry from Chipata. I came to see Dr. Nkoromana for a financial problem that I've had for a long time. Now I'm able to live a meaningful life.
9 months nine months mpaka kufika 10 months. So natamba kwa Dr. Komare kwa TV. So nipemeni nanyamuka natenga phone number nanyamuka nubura kuna. Bati kufika kuna nanipasa bananitandiza. Bananuza timuzaenda lero kiri mchaka na mwana. Chakuma mzaenda maile chakuma 9 hours ishimuni na mwana. Bati naenda 9 hours exact na physically na baby boy.
Lintu naleta mbapa TV na ishile umfua balelanda paiba Dr. Kolomani. Na adishitana moto keji. Na totera.
Mankwalanga ine sintenga kuno, ndimatenga Mozambique, ndikumulanje. Pamene ndimatenga. Ati ndimathandiza mankwala osiyanasiyana.
For more information, contact us on 0211-261242 or 0976-716754 or 0967-276448.
Takula ndirani kuno kuli Dr. Makanjira amene akupezeka mboma la Mumbwa. Tikuziwa kuti anthu ena imwenda kwa madoktas osiyanasiyana kapena kuti azisinga ngosiyanasiyana kumaluza ndalama zanu. Koma chimene timakamba amene mukutiza kuti Dr. Makanjira kuli Dr. Makanjira kulibe kuyesa. Ndikufunika kuziwa kuti Dr. Makanjira kulibe kuyesa. Aliyense wamene zoti apita mavuto osiyanasiyana atumene Dr. Makanjira akuthandizeni. Kaya kusowa kuti munyumba mulibe mwana, kaya kuti ndikutupa kwa miyendo Dr. Makanjira zamakwaniritsa. Koma tikupempha imomvera kuna kuli onse amene timvera kuti kuli Dr. Makanjira kulibe zoyesa. Aliyense amene akutenga namba yafunika khani cholinga chamene tikukamba kuti kuli Dr. Makanjira kulibe kuyesa azimayi azibambuna kuli konse kutimvera. Dr. Makanjira kupezeka mboma la Mumbwa. Mukafika pa Mumbwa prison paja funsani unaliyense kuti Dr. Makanjira apezeka kuti aza kuuzani. Koma meti makamba kuti vena kulira kuti anaenda ukuzibzana sizina ngusoke. Chamene ngakamba for example cha chisanzo kapena kuti example. Ndicho kuti ngati mwatenga muphalo wachikonde kuli Dr. Makanjira sunagwire ntchito